In this video, I'm going to share how we best ensure we make a profit on each of our client animation productions. These are the exact things we put in place at our own studio to continue to grow our business and build a professional reputation. Also, quick warning, some of these ideas are more advanced and will be better suited to a small to medium-sized studio rather than a solo freelancer doing all the work themselves. Hey, it's John Draper here, founder of a thriving UK animation studio as well as startstudio.com, where we help grow your own animation studio of awesome. Right, so making a profit from your client animation productions sounds simple enough. Just make sure you get paid more than it costs to produce the work. Simple, end of, see you later. But it's not always quite so straightforward. No matter if you're early on in your career or a seasoned professional, at times you'll be tempted to go too low when quoting to secure a project, and as the work progresses, you'll be wishing you quoted much higher to start with. Check out this video to understand how you can use the power of a ballpark budget early on in discussions to stop you quoting too low and stop time being wasted on fruitless proposals and pitches. Now, while senior animators and producers can benefit from their years of experience, even they are still putting their finger in the air a bit and giving a production cost their best guess. And despite all the best will in the world, some projects are simply going to cost more than you anticipated to produce. It could be you simply got it wrong and you should have allowed for twice as many storyboarding, asset design or animation days. It could be a hardware issue, a technical hitch that requires more money on your part. For example, a computer hard drive explodes, your stop motion armature bursts into flames or your pencil snaps. Or it could come down to humans. Bloody humans. A freelancer lets you down and the alternative artists are untested, slower and more expensive. Or perhaps you hadn't realised the voiceover artist's rate is going to be much higher for particular usage. Now, none of those examples are the client's fault. It's not a case of scope creep on a project, so you can't go back and simply ask for more money. So what can you do to better ensure you make a profit, or worst case, break even? In this video, I'm going to share 6 tips we use at our studio to ensure we make a good profit. If you're new here and interested in this sort of stuff, by all means press the subscribe button down there, or not. Either way, you'll find an array of handy links in the description below. Okay, here we go. Making profit. Number 1, quote better and charge more. First, ensure you understand the client's expectation, the project complexity and production timeline as best you can. Discuss it with the client, share images and video links to your own and other people's work to help describe creative ideas and design styles. Plus highlight where the limitations are. Then yes, do your best guess at the production costs. If you're not sure on the technical side, chat it over with your production team. That's any designers or animators that might be involved. Then multiply the number of days for each task by a fixed day rate. If you're paying freelancers to do some of the tasks, ensure the day rate you're using is at least 35% higher than their rate. So then we're on to production. Think about some of the following. Creative, storyboarding, character and asset and environment design, character and scene rigging, animation, motion graphics, titles, visual effects, compositing, professional voiceover recording, editing, licensed stock music or a composed track, sound design and audio balancing. For stop motion, consider including a studio space and equipment rental fee. Then add some fixed costs for rendering, software licenses and video export. Now, with your total project cost worked out, multiply it all by 2.5. This provides a large window for error. Project overrun, exceeding the client expectations, the ability to suck up a little bit of scope creep before you need to request more money, and yes, potential for increased profit. Number 2, agree fixed project fees with freelancers. Much like our own studio, many freelancers will be open to a fixed project fee. So taking into account the expected production time needed and their day rate, you can then offer them some freelance work. As before, highlight the expected complexity and have a chat with them to ensure they're on the same page for the project expectations. This fixed cost instantly allows you to be more confident in the project being a success for your business. If the project scope increases or was misunderstood, you will need to decide if you're going to pay them more out of your profit margin or go back to the client and ask for more budget there. But why would they do the work for less than you're charging? A few reasons. Firstly, you've put the work in, handled the inquiry and secured the client budget. Plus, you're providing value by managing the project and you're guaranteeing they will be paid. Lastly, you've watched this video and they've not. Number 3, charge 50% upfront. Some projects are going to take ages to complete. They'll get lost in stages of review or be busy on other more pressing things. This is one reason we request 50% upfront on nearly all our projects. It ensures we have the cash flow to deliver the work, pay staff and cover studio running costs. Plus, as you've taken the earlier step of multiplying your production costs by 2.5, This initial 50% payment means in the worst case scenario that if your client for some reason does not pay the rest, you've still covered most if not all of the cost of production. For longer projects, you might split the payment into milestones of 25% and have 50, 25, 25 and things like that. Number 4, be a lean, mean studio machine. Be more efficient with your animation studio time and outgoings. Think of ways to maximize your own and your team's productivity. For example, a more experienced animator will have a higher day rate, but will be more likely to get the work completed right first time and much quicker, which could save you money. Struggling with render times? Consider freeing up a workstation by making use of competitively priced online render farms. Keep up to date with software advancements, in case there's a new tool that can speed up your workflow or provide added value. Boards.com is great for speeding up the layout and export when storyboarding, plus the motion capture data from Mixamo is available for everyone with an Adobe Creative Suite license and provides a ton of possibilities for 3D characters. Plus you can charge for motion capture data in your quote, which sounds pretty bloody cool. Consider using some stock design elements in a project to ensure you come in on time and budget. For example, Envato Element's annual subscription can pay for itself many, many times over. Don't get me wrong, I love a bespoke crafted visual as much as the next creative, but you can strike a good balance. Number 5, take on more work than you can comfortably handle. Now, I'm certainly not saying be a slave driver, but consider taking on more work than you can comfortably do, especially if there's something more flexible without a hard deadline that you can say yes to. By having a bit more work than you're able to easily cope with, you're going to force yourself to be extra efficient. Plus, whilst one project is under review or at a different stage, you or your team of remote creatives or in-house creatives can be working on the next project. We'll often have an animator who is being paid for the whole day finish their workload by mid-afternoon. So it's great to be able to have them do some quick asset design, creative planning, or some amends on another project waiting in the wings. Number 6, repeat business is key to making an extra profit. Hands down, the most profitable thing we do at Stormy Studio is secure repeat business from our happy clients. Last year, 75% of our work came from businesses, agencies, and individuals we've successfully worked with in the past. So if the amends start mounting up on a current project and you're getting a bit tetchy and you're annoyed with the client, weigh up whether the amends are really that bad and consider if it's worth sucking up the extra work to keep them incredibly happy with your service. Or at least don't charge a really high extra cost just because you can. Instead, keep providing an outstanding level of service, build that rapport and win future recommendations and secure that repeat business for the future. Once your project is completed, once or twice a year, simply send a short catch-up email and you'll find the odd one will be perfectly timed and come back with a response about some planned future video project that they'd like to discuss. As you've worked with them in the past and delivered the goods, chances are on the next project, you won't even be competing against another studio or individual when you send in your quote. It's also worth reaching out to request a review or a testimonial to use on your website or elsewhere online, for example, a Google Business Review. Lastly, if you're worried you might lose the work if you go in too high, then have a call with the client and talk about it. They're human and will understand you want to win the work, but also charge what's fair. Suggest a broad ballpark figure, for example, 5K to 10K, and read the reaction. If they've got less money and you still want to do it, either absorb the extra work or suggest a simpler creative approach to ensure you don't make a loss or work for very little. Now, with all of these steps in place, it should ensure you make a profit on all of your projects going forward. Thanks for watching and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If it has provided any sort of value, please press the like button as it's good for the channel and encourages us to make more helpful content around the business of animation. Cheers.